Welcome to Crossing the Ditch Motivational Speaking. My name is Justin Jones, and over the next 9 minutes, I'll be running you through a world-first expedition that James Kistrishan and I undertook, and our corporate speaking packages designed to both motivate and entertain. We are now sharing the secrets of our survival out at sea and providing insight into the subjects of leadership, determining your own future, challenging yourself, facing adversity, and the strategic planning of our expedition as well as for any business. To date, we have presented to approximately 25,000 people, including organisations such as the Commonwealth Bank, MBF, Minter Ellison Lawyers, and the New South Wales Waratahs, to name a few. We hope you enjoy this overview. Crossing the Ditch was a kayak expedition with the aim of paddling from Australia to New Zealand. This journey was to be entirely unsupported and represented a world-first expedition. The plan was to leave from Foster on New South Wales mid-north coast and paddle some 2,200 kilometres, expecting to take 35 to 45 days to Auckland, New Zealand. The Tasman had other ideas. After departing Foster on November 13, 2007, we were to spend the next 62 days out at sea and paddle an extra 1,100 kilometres in the process. Until finally, on January 13, 2008, we staggered upon the shores of New Zealand at the town of New Plymouth, becoming the first ever kayak expedition across the Tasman Sea. James, a mountaineer and climber by trade, has a background firmly rooted in the business world. Before making adventure his career, he completed a Bachelor of Commerce at Sydney University and worked as a consultant and analyst at Deloitte. Likewise, I completed a Bachelor of Science at the University of New South Wales and am now currently studying a Masters of Commerce. Both of us have a natural affinity to the outdoors. Typically, our keynote includes a 40 to 50 minute presentation, followed by a 20-minute question and answer time afterwards. Our presentation has a large audio-visual basis. We show footage and images from arrival, departure, out on the ditch, and from the 3.5 years of preparation. We then use this to tell our story, help our audience experience the ditch, and convey our key messages. Why? What would get two young blokes in their mid-20s to want to get out there in a kayak and paddle from Australia to New Zealand?
Things like, what are we going to do with storms out there? How are we going to handle sharks? How are we going to handle 10-metre breaking waves in a kayak? What are we going to sleep in? And the list just went on and on. But what we did realise was we could put a trip like this together if we formed a team around us with the best in each of their fields, and that's what we went out and tried to find. We went up the side of one that just got steeper and steeper. And then all of a sudden we saw this vertical wall of water that was about 2 or 3 metres above us just collapse on top of us, flipped us on our side, and instantly our lungs were full of water. The kayak had lost its positive buoyancy. So if we took on enough water, the kayak was actually going to sink.
And we're there paddling away, dog-tired, as the sun just on our right-hand side just starts to set. There's all these beautiful reds, yellows and oranges on the horizon. And then this little silhouette starts forming. And it was Mount Taranaki, the first sight of land we'd seen in 60 days. Right then and there, I just started bawling like a baby.
We are also able to work with your organisation on any particular focus. Crossing the Ditch Motivational Speaking has had a large range of different clients in many fields. Some of the companies and organisations are included on this list.
To give you a little bit of an idea of what life on the Tasman was actually like, we're going to show you a bit of a video right now of what it was like out at sea. Alright, Christmas Day 2007! Woohoo! Yeah, man! How you doing, JZ? Yeah, good, man.
Got a nice squeeze up our arse, so that's good. It's a good Christmas present.
So long as it's coming from the west, who gives a shit? Woohoo!
After the expedition video, we backtrack and answer the question why. Why would two young men in their mid-20s want to paddle a kayak from Australia to New Zealand?
And in doing so, we discuss the events in our lives that have driven us towards this goal.
So there we were, 4 years ago, with an idea and no conceivable way of how to do this.
How to achieve our goal. This led to perhaps the most crucial part of the entire expedition, the risk management and planning stage. We realised that by ourselves we were ill-equipped to achieve our goal, so we formed a team of world-class experts that would help us get across, and slowly the design of our kayak, Lot 41, began to take shape. With all world-first expeditions and unique projects, there are always going to be issues. Crossing the ditch was no different. Apart from the huge logistical challenges, there were also many other issues, including an ill-fated trial where we almost lost the kayak, and this forced us to delay our expedition till the next year. We share anecdotes and stories of events out on the Tasman and the lessons we learned from these trials. 10-metre waves, massive storms, a myriad of issues, fatigue, overly inquisitive shark encounters are just a few of what we experienced out on the Tasman. We conclude our presentation with our blueprint to crossing the Tasman and how we achieved a seemingly impossible task. Finally, we share with our audience what it feels like to paddle into the shores of New Zealand after spending 62 days at sea and being greeted by 15,000 screaming people. Thank you for considering crossing the ditch for your upcoming event. We look forward to working with you in the future.